Hello everyone. I finally managed to try and do a video. I want to apologise for not doing one for over a year. I'll explain why in a minute, but I've just been a bit kind of not been able to get my thoughts in order to do a video and not had the time and motivation. Well, I probably have had the time, but I've been getting on with things. It's the end of the Easter holidays, so I've not had my craft group and I've not had my class, which I've been doing, so I thought I'd do a video. So, a lot's happened since a year ago. Mainly, I tried out for Autism Diagnosis, finally got a referral from the doctor after the fourth attempt of speaking to a doctor about possible being autistic. And I think that must have been about a year ago, something like that, a year and a bit ago. And so it's probably like in the April time, something last year, 2021. So I can't actually remember what I said, but I must have got the courage to speak to him. And she finally did the referral for me and didn't hear anything back for a few weeks. And I just happened to ring the doctors about something else. You don't have appointments anymore. You just ring and speak to the doctor. Doctor rings you back. So I just happened to ask at the end of another appointment about it because I'd not heard anything. And she looked on the computer and she was like, "Oh, we've got a reply back from them." I was like, "Oh, well, thanks for telling me." So I asked about it and she kind of read through it and it was like a letter or something. And basically how it works in my area, the referral goes to an autism panel first. Panel of like doctors, experts, whatever. And so they kind of review the information and then if they find enough evidence, they must put you on the waiting list. But basically, I didn't get through from that initial panel. So I was a little bit gutted. She kind of said a few things on the phone and I was kind of a bit upset and cross. But so I said to her, "Can you email me the letter so I can read it through?" Because she didn't really read it all the way through. She just gave me little bits of it. So a few weeks, I think it was like a week or two later, I got that email through. So I've got it in front of me, but I'm not going to read it all out. Basically, the gist of it was they didn't see autism in me. It said the information provided was too little and not consistent with a person who might have autism. So they've not got enough information, but from the information they've got, they've kind of made a judgment without even meeting me or speaking to me. And basically what they've done, because they've not got enough information, they've had a look at my past doctor's notes. So like when I visited the doctors, they've wrote down things about the appointment and what's happened and stuff. So I've got a few things down from like 2013, 2014, I think was another one. So one of them said, I think two of them have said, Claire made good eye contact and rapport. And then another one later on has said, Claire was going out with friends. And I think another one was, I talked about my friend had said something that made me question why I was tired or something. So they've basically said, because I've made eye contact in the kind of 5 or 10 minute appointment at the doctor's, I can't be autistic. And also, because I've got friends, I was going out to see friends after the appointment that I had back in 2013, I can't possibly be autistic. So it's the kind of, hang on, there's another one. I think it kind of says the things that I've put in the referral. So it says, the panel appreciates that feels she might have several indicators of autism, but the information provided appears to suggest her difficulties result from depression and anxiety. For example, it is reported she struggles to express herself when stressed, she overthinks and is easily overwhelmed, which is a clear indication that her communication and social interaction difficulties are not pervasive and dependent on her affective state. No idea what that means. We also note that she loses track of what she is saying, has word-finding difficulty at times, can hyperfocus when creative, and poor sleep. The description of her is therefore of a person with neurocognitive deficits which are not highly predictive of autism. What? And they kind of sum it up at the end. In summary, the panel could not find any description of a lady who might have autism, but did find evidence of an individual who has suffered from reactive mental health difficulties in the past. And it says, please forgive us for not being able to accept all referrals without clinical scrutiny, but with a diagnostic rate of approximately 20% after referrals have been triaged, we try to offer appointments to people who are more likely to receive a diagnosis. So basically, they're going by old stereotypes of young boys with autism who can't make eye contact, can't make friends, and yeah. The doctor that I saw in August 2020 also reports she has a good circle of friends and is close to her mum. And another bit that it says, more generally and consistent with the referral letter, we could not find any evidence of her having the stereotypic, rigid, repetitive behaviours or restricted interests that we would expect to find in the context of autism. Again, narrow, crappy stereotypes. That was dated 19th of May 2021, which is just a month less than a year ago. So, yeah. So since then, I've been kind of doubting myself all over again. And not knowing what to do. Do I need a diagnosis? But the kind of thing that makes me think that I need a diagnosis is a few weeks ago, basically, I had kind of about half an hour, 45 minutes where I wasn't able to speak. So it just so happened I've been doing an online autism support group for women, late diagnosed women, which has been really, really helpful. But it was the night of that. It was kind of a few hours before that, so I messaged the lady who runs it and just explained what was happening. Because usually I'm like this, I'm quite on video on the Zoom call and I'm quite chatty and getting involved and stuff. But with me not being able to speak, I still wanted to join in and listen and kind of type things if I could. Type. But because I wasn't able to speak, I kind of just gave her a heads up that I wanted to join in, but what happened? So she actually read out the message that I sent to her, which was good. And a few of the other people in the group could identify with that. But I think the reason I want to be diagnosed is that if that happens again, when I start working, which I'm hoping to do in the next few months, kind of July, September, start looking, even though I've not got a clue how I'm going to cope in interviews, but we'll see. Anyway, if that was to happen again while I was at work or after work and I was just exhausted, I wouldn't be able to explain that to somebody that I work with. I kind of say, oh, well, I think I'm autistic, but not got a diagnosis. So it's things like that and my tiredness still that's happening that I just want to be able to kind of say to people, yes, I am on the waiting list for diagnosis. But that's another thing as well. The other day, like a few weeks ago, I was kind of thinking, right, in the Easter holidays, when I've got time, I might be able to figure it all out in my head and be able to approach doctors again. But I'm still no closer to it because it's kind of all mixed up and I still don't know how to kind of put it into words. So yeah, part of me is kind of saying, if you can't put it into words and you can't get the confidence and the courage up to speak to the doctors, maybe it's not the right time. But then I was kind of a bit annoyed with myself a few weeks ago because I'm kind of like thinking, well, it's been a year, almost a year since I got knocked back, so to speak. They kind of didn't take my referral any further. That time could have been spent on the waiting list if I'd been able to kind of a month or two later, once I'd got over the kind of shock and upset and everything of it, I might have been able to speak to the doctor again and push for it more. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking there's no point doing it, or it's kind of a sign if I'm not ready to do it. I needed that time to kind of get my head around it and still haven't got my head around it, but yeah. So I think that's it for now. It's going to be a long one, but never mind. So yeah. I've also, my mum, bless her, has been doing research and reading books for me, and she sent me some parts of pages of a book that she'd taken screenshots of that I haven't had a chance to read yet, so maybe I can have a read of those in the next few days and see if that helps me get any nearer to formulating, because I've got stuff written down, like all the reasons, but it's like I don't want to just read all those out to the doctor on the phone. Or do I? I don't know, it's just I haven't got the courage up to do it yet, so it's kind of annoying. But anyway. So yeah, that's my update. Thank you for listening. If you've got any tips, helpful stuff, then put it in the comments. There's some, when I can find them again, I think I bookmarked them on my phone. Got some like Aspie quizzes and stuff online that I might do tomorrow or Saturday or something, or whenever I'm able, really, because it's one of these things I keep putting it off and like doing crafty things instead and stuff, and just not doing it. But one of these days I'll be able to do it. Things happen for a reason. So yeah, hope everyone's okay. Thank you for watching, and yeah, like and subscribe, all that jazz. Okay, bye.